Last week at the UFC PI, former light heavyweight champion Jamahal Hill was brutally punked by Alex Pereira, and luckily it was all caught on video. And we'll take a look at it again in this video, but it was caught all on video. Pereira embarrassing Jamahal Hill. And I made a video about it back then, a week ago when it initially happened. I will link that video down in the description. But since then, Jamahal Hill did a live stream on his YouTube channel where he sat there and basically made delusional excuses for why Alex Pereira punked him and embarrassed him. And on top of that, we no longer have to call Jamahal Hill an alleged domestic abuser because now he admits to it. He finally has broken his silence on his Thanksgiving Day fight with his brother. We're going to get to that later in the video. We're going to check out a bunch of different clips from Jamahal Hill's live stream. And I mean, this guy, every time he opens his mouth, he just makes himself look dumb. We're going to check that out in a second. Let's jump right into the UFC PI altercation. I already broke this down previously, so we're going to go through it really quickly. But yeah, this altercation or confrontation, it really wasn't an altercation, made Jamahal Hill look so bad. It made him look so bad. Let's check it out. Jamahal Hill embarrassing himself. You know, unless he's, you know, fighting. I mean, basically, if Jamahal Hill's opening his mouth, he's embarrassing himself at this point. So let's watch.
Not on Twitter now.
Not on Twitter now. I mean, look at this dude. First off, okay, we got to break this down again. For an elite level fighter who's got to fight in a month against Yuri Prochazka, this dude is straight up got a muffin top. We're going to call him Jamal Muffin Top Hill at this point. Dude's got a towel around his neck. Look at the way he's dressed. He has the audacity to walk up to Alex Pereira and say, not on Twitter now. Like Alex Pereira is some Twitter troll and not the guy that brutally KO'd him at UFC 300. But let's carry on.
Not on Twitter now.
Immediately, Alex Pereira says, fist bump, offers him respect. Now, I don't know what happens in this next few seconds, but apparently, you know, there's some type of back and forth. Jamahal Hill tries to clarify it in his live stream. I don't know if I necessarily believe him or not, but we'll get to that in a second. But then we'll see what happens next. So look, next thing you know, Pereira's grabbing some gloves, okay? Remember these gloves because Jamahal Hill makes excuses for why he didn't want to pick up these gloves. He got straight up embarrassed here. Pereira offers him gloves. Let's go spar. You got a problem? You want to walk up to me while I'm training in the gym with your muffin top and your towel around your neck? Let's go spar, man. You've been talking online nonstop. You've been talking on YouTube nonstop. Let's go spar. I mean, this is exactly what Jamahal Hill criticizes. He's posting videos of people in his comment sections saying, yeah, these guys would never fight me. And he's offering $20K, you know, for whoever shows up to his gym and spars. And by the way, that's why he was out of UFC 303. I showed up and claimed that $20K. But he talks about all these dudes who talk shit online, but they wouldn't dare step to those waters. They wouldn't dare step to Jamahal Hill's face. Well, Pereira, who Jamahal Hill seems to have a massive issue with, says, all right, throw in the gloves. Throw in the gloves. Basically, Jamahal Hill's an internet troll at this point. And watch what Jamahal Hill's response is. Tosses the gloves to him. And Jamahal just says over and over again, for free? For free? Yeah, pretend I'm your brother. Pretend it's Thanksgiving Day. All right? It tells him again, get in the cage. You want to talk. You want to talk and talk and talk. We ain't on Twitter now. We ain't on Twitter now, Mr. Muffin Top. That's what Pereira should have been saying. And now Jamahal Hill's standing there looking like an idiot because he's the one that brought this confrontation on. And Pereira says, step in here. And you know what's crazy? Jamahal Hill made a mistake because had he stepped in there and actually sparred with Pereira, maybe land a couple shots, he could have claimed victory even if he didn't. And he would have been one step closer to a title shot. But let's watch the rest of this.
Let's make money. Let's make money.
I'm going to get that money from that boy being asleep. Yeah, how did that work out for you the first time, Jamahal Hill?
We're good, boys.
This dude's this is Jamahal Hill a month out from a fight. This is supposed to be an elite level athlete here. For now, hey, look, for now on, Jamal Muffin Top Hill. That's the new name.
We're good. In the tank, boys. I'm going to take the back right now.
Anyway, basically the gist is Jamahal Hill refuses to pick up the gloves. He went up there. He started a confrontation. Pereira said, put on the gloves, get in the cage, don't be a bitch. And what did Jamahal Hill do? He got punked. He got punked. He didn't dare want to buck up. He just wanted he wanted an internet clip. He wanted to look tough. But when Pereira said, all right, buck up, get in the cage, Jamahal Hill said, no, it isn't Thanksgiving, nor are you my bloodline. No, I'm not doing it. Then later that night, Jamahal Hill did a live stream where he discussed this incident. And you could tell by the look on it. I mean, he's surrounded by nothing but yes men. I can already tell from this stream. I've watched very little of Jamahal Hill's like content podcasts like this. But I want to start off with this clip because this clip actually kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it just reminds me of just Jamahal Hill in general, everything he does. They start out the podcast, and this just tells me, okay, was this just a money grab by Jamahal Hill? He wanted to drum up some interest in his podcast, which still only has 6.1K views 5 days later. But after he gets in this confrontation at the UFC PI, they're like, yeah, $5 minimum for a question. $5 minimum. I mean, this guy must be desperate for money. Because again, he's saying for free, because he doesn't want to fight Pereira for free, even though he's been talking mad crap online. But let's listen to this.
You can ask us questions. We have a $5 minimum if you want us to read your questions out loud or speak to Jamal or Blaine or even myself. Keep it appropriate or I won't read it. Okay, then you're going to be mad because you spent some money for no reason.
So anyway, you got to send Jamahal Hill $5 to ask him about his confrontation where he got brutally punked by Pereira. Wouldn't dare buck up to Pereira in person, even after he said, they're saying Twitter no more. Well, what's the purpose of saying that? You know, if Pereira did that to me, and I knew, especially if I knew it's being filmed, I would get in the cage with Pereira. Okay, Jamahal Hill wouldn't dare because he already knew what happened. He knew what would happen again. After UFC 300, he got embarrassed. He made all them excuses. Next clip is where he actually starts to talk about the incident a little bit here. And look, he just makes excuses. And I'm not sure if it's in this clip or the next one. His little co-host co-signed his delusion. Like he's just embarrassing himself, like making these excuses for why he didn't put on the gloves. Let's listen.
I was chilling.
You were chilling.
I was chilling. So I was at the PI earlier, and Alex was there. You know, I just finished working out. He was working out, and you know, I just went to go up and have a conversation. You know, ask him, you know, since we don't have to talk about it across Twitter, because I'm right here. You know, initially when I went up to him, it was smooth. It was like, you know, don't run the heavyweight. I'm gonna go ahead and handle business, and then we need to run this back. Like we need to run.
By the way, I'm not sure if I have it in any of the clips that we're gonna look at. He claims he gets a title shot with a win over Yuri Prochazka. How broken is the UFC if that happens? Also, he talks crap about Magomed Ankalaev. I'm going to show you that in a clip from this video, but let's carry on.
Running back. And, you know, in somewhat amongst the exchange, he said something to his translator. And his translator said, like, oh, he said, you still asleep or you still woke up and shit. Like, I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake now. You can get put to sleep for real. And then,
so basically, Pereira embarrassed him and punked him by saying, are you awake yet? You awake yet? And Jamahal Hill says, well, you can get put to sleep right now. And then what does Pereira respond? So even Jamahal Hill's set of events makes him look dumb. By the way, you can tell he thinks he's a badass by telling this story. You said you would put Pereira to sleep. He offered you an opportunity to get in the cage with gloves, and you turned him down and ran away with your little muffin top and towel. But let's carry on.
Then it kind of went to a whole like fake ass like, oh yeah, come get the gloves and go in the cage, which I replied, what the fuck we need gloves for? We not getting paid right now. You know what I mean? I get paid to fight. I get paid to put on gloves and fight. And when I'm out and
you know damn well people would let you step in the cage with gloves. You knew if you just start a quote unquote brawl right there, a street fight right there, not only would you get slept badly, but nobody would let it happen. People would break it up. But if you stepped in the cage with him, people would let you spar. You can train together, no problem. You can spar together, no problem. So now you're basically the whole, Jamahal Hill is essentially the hold me back guy. Imagine I went up to Jamahal Hill and I said, you can get slept right now, brother. And he's like, all right, spar me then. I'll give you 20K, you spar me. And I'm like, nah, man, we can throw these hands. Hold me back. Hold me back. That's essentially what he did. He got embarrassed badly and punked badly.
In a situation like that, we could throw hands right now. You know what I mean? I'm not finna take time, put no gloves on and none of that shit. We can just throw hands right now.
I didn't want to take the time to put on gloves. So that's why I embarrassed myself. Then why'd you go up to him and talk tough then? Why'd you say you can get slept right now? Okay, well then throw a punch then. If you're such a badass, you know, the little badass like Jelly Bean, as Dana White would say.
You know, which
so
obviously.
that's why you said we don't.
Right. We don't need no gloves. We don't need no gloves. The fuck we need gloves for? We got hands right here. And his response was just to stand there. So, you know what I mean? It's like, fuck it. We're going to get paid. I'm not going to ruin my bread.
So he acts like, yeah, Pereira just stood there. He didn't do a thing. He offered you gloves. You're the one that came and acted tough. And he offered you gloves and you cried like a little baby and you walked off with your muffin top. And he thinks he's a badass for doing this. It's just crazy.
Bad, because here's the thing, right? If I had just reached over and hit him there and we started fighting right there,
you would have slumped badly. He probably would have meme KO'd you again.
Possibly lose out on the fight, on my next fight, and any opportunities I have left. I got restrictions now at the PI and all these other things and stuff like that. So we get paid. We made a lot of money the first time we fought. Yeah. So why would I not make a lot of money when I knock his ass out the next time?
Well, you got knocked out the first time, but then why did you go up and talk tough? You could have just said hi to him. Maybe you could have asked him for another autograph like you did back at UFC 300. Like everything Jamahal Hill just said in the last 20 seconds that I showed you actually makes sense. Why would I get into a fight with him? Why would I got a fight coming up. I don't want to get restrictions at the UFC PI. I like coming here. It all makes sense except for the fact he's the one that enticed this confrontation and then he backed down. And also, if you got it sparred, guess what? Nobody would care about that. You would just care when you got embarrassed in the cage again.
Like, people going to say what they going to say. You know what I mean? They going to sound dumb like they always do, but it is what it is.
And I ain't putting my hands in some dirty, other man's dirty
gloves. I don't even know who gloves they were. I don't know who gloves they were. He just found them on the ground,
People don't understand how bad that shit reeks, man.
So we got Jamahal Hill laugh. Yeah, I would never put my hands in some dirty gloves. That's his excuse for why he got absolutely punked by Alex Pereira. And of course, you got the yes man over here. I don't know who this guy is. Yes man over here. Yeah, man, I wouldn't use them dirty gloves. Yeah, that cage wasn't the right size. Yeah, man, I had just ate my my lunch. There's no way I was stepping in there. I didn't have the right shoes with me or the right training equipment with me. I couldn't have stepped in there. I had a doctor's appointment after. I mean, a million excuses, nothing but excuses for why he didn't buck up to Alex Pereira. Next clip. And the next clip is actually later on, way later on in the podcast. That's the beginning. That's the gist of everything he talked about in the beginning. And now in this clip, he starts talking about Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. And he just, he's so unaware. And by the way, in the last clip, he's like, people are going to keep talking and people are going to keep looking stupid as always. That's literally projection. That's exactly, that's a perfect description of himself. But let's carry on.
All right.
But it don't matter. I want both of them shit, and I can't fucking stand Magomed. As much as y'all think I don't like Alex.
I can't stand Magomed. I told you guys a long time ago, it was my most unpopular take on the channel at the time. Jamahal Hill is unhinged. He's emotionally unstable. He is mentally broken, okay? He can't stand Magomed. He hates Magomed for a couple tweets. That they're so insignificant that I don't even remember what Ankalaev had said about him. Okay? A couple tweets, just poking fun at him. Meanwhile, Jamahal Hill talks crap about literally everyone 24/7. He's more of an internet warrior. He talks more on Twitter than he does in the cage anymore.
There's a line, there's a certain level
it's
of
more
respect.
competitive.
It's more
right,
it's more competitive. It's competitive. It's competitive fire really with me. Magomed, I really just don't fucking like him.
A lot of people don't like him.
He's a bitch.
A lot of people don't like him. Are you talking about Magomed or are you talking about Jamahal? Because I would venture to say more people don't like Jamahal than don't like Magomed, who occasionally sends out some tweets that may not even be him. And most of what everything that I've ever seen him say has literally been facts, literal facts. But look, Jamahal Hill, people like this, okay? And when I say people like this, Jamahal Hill, emotionally unhinged, emotionally unstable. They surround themselves with yes men, and then they just live in an echo chamber. They live in a bubble because people are too afraid to stand up to him. Because if this guy bucks up, this guy in the center bucks up and said, look, man, I think you embarrassed yourself there. You're telling me if this guy in the middle, I need you guys to let me know in the comments. If the guy in the middle said, look, I really think you made yourself look dumb there. You tell me Jamahal Hill probably wouldn't sucker punch him right then and there? Probably would. And this goes on to more.
Well, dude, he was at the PI the whole time before he left. Whenever you were the champ, didn't say a word.
Didn't say a fucking word. And now every time on Twitter, this motherfucker just always got something to say. And it's crazy because people keep coming at me. Y'all had something to say about me responding to Alex. That nigga came at me.
Imagine talking like that. But also, How hypocritical is this? This dude said to him, yeah, Magomed seen you at the PI and he didn't confront you. Well, you confronted Pereira and then he told you put on the gloves, lace up, and you bitched out. You got punked. You got embarrassed. You got humiliated. Now they're saying Ankalaev didn't buck up at the PI, so Ankalaev must have been scared of Jamal when Jamal was a champion. Because Ankalaev has sent out a couple tweets. Because people act like he's unpromotable, so he's trying to push himself a little bit more on social media, or as a manager is. But since he didn't buck up, well, if he would have bucked up, he would have told Jamal, put on the gloves, let's spar, and Jamal would have said, no, for free? For free? I only do that against my brother at the Thanksgiving Day table. For free? Hell no. For free? Yeah. And then there's more to this. Somebody actually super chat, shout out to whoever sent this super chat, said, why didn't you put the gloves on? So why did you bitch out and get punked like a little girl, Jamahal Hill?
So I appreciate you for asking this.
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't you put on the gloves, Jamal? I know you explained this earlier, but let's...
I'll answer. He was scared of getting embarrassed by Pereira. He knew that the people around there would let it happen. They'd be able to get in the cage. They'd be able to throw down a little bit and spar. And he was scared of getting embarrassed. That's exactly why.
Well, one, they weren't my gloves, and they weren't his.
So they weren't his gloves. Oh, yeah. Weren't his gloves.
His either. You know what I'm saying? He just grabbed a pair of dusty ass gloves and kind of threw them. And two, like, bro, we get paid to fight. We made a lot of money the first time we fought, right? And my thing is, if it's really like that and we really got to sell it right here, I'm not putting no fucking gloves on. We can throw these hands just like they are, as is. As I said in the video.
Then why were you so desperate to try to press him and talk shit to him in person if you weren't willing to put the gloves on?
Yo, we don't need gloves. We can throw them right here. And I stood right there in range, right with him, to see what's up and see what it is. You know what I mean? Nobody backing down, nothing. So it is what it is. That means we got to fight, and we gon' secure that bag.
So basically, okay, so you elicited a confrontation with Pereira, not because you want to act like a tough guy, but because you're trying to sell a future fight. Is that what you're trying to do then? It's just crazy to me. And then he's acting like Pereira. What really rubbed me the wrong way about this is he's acting like Pereira is the one that backed in. Yeah, I stood in range. I told him we could throw these hands, and he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. He just stood there while I stood in range. No, he pointed at the glove and said, let's get in the cage, because you guys throw hands right there, everyone's going to stop you. It's never going to get further than 2 punches. But if you actually put the gloves on and get in the cage, you can actually get embarrassed. But he didn't want to do that. And it goes on more.
Why would I think about it like this? Because if I hadn't hit him, then the question is going to be, oh, you're dumb. You just ruined this. I got to fight in 7 weeks. I got to fight in 7 weeks already booked, right? Granted, am I against calling up and letting somebody know I'm coming for him? No, I'm not. I'm not against that. But to fuck up my opportunity and my money for what?
Shit you could go do outside.
For
that
somebody,
video.
you know,
So basically, for no reason, you went there and did it. Just, I understand what he's saying here. I even agree with what he's saying here, but it makes no sense based on his actions. You went up with your muffin top and acted like a tough guy. And then when he gave you an option to do it without ruining your fight, you said, no, the only way I would do it is if I ruined my fight. And we could have a bare knuckle fight right here in the gym that I know isn't going to get too far because people are going to break us up. You know, who knows? Maybe you can knock me out a little bit quicker than you did at UFC 300, and maybe it carries on. But it's just like, it makes no sense. Like, then why are you acting tough if you don't plan on doing anything about it? You're basically an internet troll then, who found him in person, and now you're trying to. He's basically trying to get an undeserved title shot, is the gist I got from it. Now, I'm not even going to skip ahead. We'll get a little bit more, but then in a second, he talks about the incident where he sucker punched his brother at Thanksgiving, gives us some more details on it. In case you don't know, Jamahal Hill was arrested in November or early December of 2023 and charged with domestic violence for allegedly assaulting his brother. Apparently, he assaulted his brother in front of his brother's wife and his own kids, knocking one of his teeth down his throat, because his brother allegedly didn't clean the house well enough. Well, Jamahal Hill hasn't really spoke on it. The charges have since been dropped. Jamahal Hill hasn't spoke on it at all. Well, now he goes on his podcast and he fesses up. He admits to domestic violence. We don't have to speculate. We don't have to say alleged anymore. He admits to it, but we hear his side of the story finally. And maybe I'm wrong now. Maybe I'm wrong for ever even somewhat criticizing him a year ago. You know, I made fun of it since then and mentioned it since then. But we're going to hear Jamahal Hill's side of the story. I wanted to include that in this video because I know a lot of people are saying, why haven't you talked about this? Well, Jamahal finally said this is what happened. I'm going to give my response to what Jamahal Hill says happened. And honestly, when he was talking like this, I felt like it was directed at me. So we got to talk about it a little bit.
On YouTube and make money on their channel for
you feel what I'm
it.
saying?
Like,
I'm going to let everybody else eat but me? That makes no sense.
So right now he's about to bring up the brother. But before we get to that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. I would greatly appreciate it.
That makes absolutely no sense. And I have been seeing this a lot, like recently, because it was Thanksgiving and it's been a year since it happened. The whole thing.
It's been. He just brought this up out of the blue too. I mean, this is hilarious. He literally brought this up out of the blue. Let's watch that again.
But me, that makes no sense.
It's been a year since the original fight.
That makes absolutely no sense. And I have been seeing this a lot, like recently, because it was Thanksgiving and it's been a year since it happened. The whole thing with the whole brother comment and all this and that shit. Like, y'all really need to get a life. And here's the thing. I never would have hit my brother had my brother not punched my kid's mom in the head trying to hit me.
So I would have never hit my brother if my brother didn't punch my kid's mom in the head trying to punch me. So that is Jamahal Hill's version of events. Essentially, his brother tried to hit him, hit somebody else, Jamahal hit him back. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't. If that is true, if Jamahal Hill's version of events are true, then he is correct. There should have been no charges pressed against him. Okay, there should have been no charges pressed against him. But my opinion on this really is, could it be true? Sure, it could be true. You know, does he deserve to go to jail for the rest of his life or for any substantial period of time? No, absolutely not. But I don't trust Jamahal Hill at all. This guy goes out there, lobbies thinly veiled threats at everyone. Okay, listen to his rendition of events that happened at UFC 300. Imagine you couldn't see that. Imagine you're a blind man and Jamahal Hill told you what happened at UFC 300. Yeah, I didn't hit Pereira in the nuts. He pretended like he got hit in the nuts. Then the referee stopped it. While the referee was stopping it, the referee was behind me. Then Pereira took 3 steps forward, which is false. This did not happen. And then the referee restarted it without me realizing it. And then he closed the distance even more and he KO'd me. And then I didn't even go to sleep. The ref just jumped in after I got hurt. I mean, that's completely detached from reality. That's completely delusional. So I hate to say it. I don't even know if I necessarily believe this. I don't, you know, we're never going to find out any more information because it's not going to court. But if that is what happened, then okay, sure. Jamahal Hill, you know, at the end of the day, I think we can still make fun of him for beating up his brother at Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, how is that not worth making fun of, especially a dude who does nothing but talk crap about everyone else? But if that is what actually happened, then he shouldn't have, you know, he doesn't have any charges pressed against him. Nobody's lobbying for him to be cut. So I just thought it was interesting to include that, and there's more to it.
So for everybody that constantly keeps talking and bringing that shit up, y'all don't know the fucking story. Y'all steady speaking on family matters. And I guarantee you, based off the way y'all look, y'all have no family life and y'all look lame as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I felt like that was directed at me. I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was directed at me, but I'll tell you right now, if Jamahal Hill threw me the gloves, I'm lacing up. I wouldn't be like, oh, those gloves are too dirty. Those gloves are too dirty. And I'm going to pray Herb Dean's there as well. But yeah, I mean, he's just mad that people are saying like, dude, you assaulted your brother. I mean, dude just admitted to it. Who knows what actually happened? I don't trust his rendition of events. I don't trust his version of events, however you want to say it. Do you? Do you? Okay? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense that he's now saying, yeah, the people who criticize me for assaulting my brother with the police report, we've made fun of him with the police report details. Meanwhile, Jamahal Hill stayed dead silent on it. Somehow we're to blame because of the way we look. It makes no sense.
Like, going with that shit, bro. Going with that shit, bro.
I would suggest anybody do research, by the way, on that.
Yeah, bro.
Because some things have changed.
Case been dropped, everything. I ain't had to deal with it or nothing. Y'all just keep bringing it up because that's all y'all have. That's all you have is to say some shit about some family shit. Obviously, family shit and shit with my family turning in a certain way and shit like that.
So there you go. He's obviously upset that he brutally assaulted his brother at Thanksgiving. We don't know exactly what happened, but now we can confirm that it's not alleged. He knocked his brother's teeth down his throat at Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving. Jamahal Hill fesses up to it. And he acts like this is the only thing people have to make fun of him for. I mean, this guy is basically a walking meme. He went up there with his little pot belly and tried to confront Pereira. And when Pereira told him, step up, buck up in the cage, buddy. Let's put on some gloves. He said, no. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. I got to fight in a month. And by the way, he thinks he's getting a title shot by beating Yuri. This guy is delusional. This guy continues to embarrass himself over and over and over again. And luckily for us, Alex Pereira humiliated him at the UFC PI. Let me know what you guys think about Jamahal Hill's response to all this, how he, made excuses for why he didn't step in the cage. Let me know what you think about the whole brother Thanksgiving incident. I'm so glad we got to see the rematch in 2024 at Thanksgiving where Jamahal Hill was able to get another brutal KO. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.